Welcome everybody. This is Thomas, and I'm here with Mike, and we are the first, the last, the Nerdom, and you've selected our grab bag to watch, where we open up the grab bag and we find all sorts of goodies. They could be recommendations. We talk about current topics. Anything's allowed in the grab bag, so you'll find various things. Usually, our thumbnail will show you what we'll be discussing first. It's usually like a spicy topic, which I think we got an extra spicy one today.
Yeah.
So yeah, nothing wrong with the spicy grab bag. But if you're new to the channel, the first, the last, the Nerdom is all about everything nerd. We have a podcast that we usually try to release on Sunday or Monday, where we usually pick a movie or a topic to do an in-depth discussion on that runs maybe an hour and a half, depending on how much we need to talk about it. And then this particular grab bag, we try to get you on a Wednesday, and then we also have on Friday we have a series where we watch things for the first time. Right now, we did do previously our my first run through of the first season of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
You did.
And this time, we're going through about 2 episodes at a time of Strange New Worlds. Our first one of that came out last week. We'll have another one coming out on Friday where we talk about episodes 3 and 4. We're doing them 2 at a time, so if we do them once a week, by the time episode 10 hits, we'll be caught up and everything. So but yeah, I've been running my mouth for a while there. Mike, what's going on with you?
Not much. Just enjoying the last few picks that we've had. Really, I have enjoyed. Thanks for that great rundown. You're doing great. You're doing great. Yeah, we're plugging our show here. I'm doing great. And how are you? How are you feeling leaning into this week for this week's grab bag? Some interesting things going on out there.
yeah. There's various topics. We try to stay somewhere in the middle of things, so we won't lean one way or another. But the thing a lot of people's talking about, even in the especially in our nerd world, is good old Ezra Miller. If you didn't notice by the thumbnail, what's going on with Ezra Miller? What's as our friend Jerry Seinfeld would say, what's the deal with Ezra Miller?
No kidding. Yeah. What's up with this? Like, I've just heard, and I've kind of, just because I am a nerd and I love comic books, and I do enjoy most of what DC puts out on the big screen. It's just, well, it's nice once in a while. I've kind of been keeping, and it's been a minute, but I've just been, his name keeps coming up in weirdo kind of stories here and there, like over like the last couple of years, and I really didn't know about any of this until like maybe the last 6 months. I didn't really realize what kind of a Barry Allen this one is. He's more like who's the Reverse Flash? What's his character name?
You got me on that one.
Reverse Flash name.
And folks, we are nerds. We cover a wide spectrum of nerd stuff, but we nowhere claim to be experts on everything nerd.
Right.
What was his name again?
I was just Eobard Thawne. So he is definitely like Ezra Miller, kind of almost.
He reverse flashed on himself. Yeah. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. So what's going on with him? Like, what's up with this guy?
What's not going on with him? So I don't think. Well, I think if we were one of the Warner Brothers high execs, we'd be going, what do we do with Ezra Miller? Okay, so I think some of you guys out there probably have seen some various programs on him, so we'll only kind of hit the high points. We're not going to do like a in-depth study of what's been going on with Ezra Miller. But the highlights, as far as I know about them, is he went to Hawaii, spent some time there, and I don't know what. I know he was drinking, and I don't know what type of substances he was on, but he was getting into fights. I know he I don't know. I don't think it was in Hawaii, but a little while back, there's footage of him choking out a woman, actually physically choking a woman. And yeah, and I don't think anything came from that. I don't know if she was a fan or if he was upset or whatnot. And then in Hawaii, I think he got into a altercation in a bar, and I don't know if it was the same people, but later on he broke into a man and woman's house and was threatening them. And but yeah, so I believe he got arrested for that, for the assault. And then just recently, I think a couple of people or their parents have accused him of grooming underage individuals.
Yep, that's what I was aware of, and I had heard about some kind of a fight or something like where the police were called in Hawaii, like a bar fight or something. I don't. That's not what it was, but I just remember there was some kind of physical conflict in Hawaii. And then I heard on the bigger one that I heard was the restraining order that the parents were going after to prevent Ezra Miller from having any contact with their child, who is over 18 at this point, I believe, but still, I guess they met when that person was a minor. And there's quite a few issues there that were,
and I think currently, then currently there's a 12-year-old that their family is put a protective order against him, because he wanted to buy a bunch of horses on his ranch so the kid could look after and I think got into some verbal altercations with the parents. I don't know the context of why he was with this family and talking to this 12-year-old, but that's just a little strange. You don't normally, a grown man doesn't usually go to visit a 12-year-old and their family, unless you're Michael Jackson, I guess. maybe Ezra Miller's the current day Michael Jackson. I don't know. And also I wanna apologize. I know their pronouns is they, them. I don't know if he's included in that, but yeah, if we accidentally say he, that's our bad, and I apologize.
Yeah, I did. I'll own that one. Yeah, I think I did. I'll own that one. So yeah, that's what I did read, was that they consider themselves non-binary, I believe, or something along those lines. But it seems to be the Warner Brothers has they're going to have to come to a decision real quick. And how that happens is why we're covering it. So like I would say that this kind of going into the movies and to tie in is I didn't dislike their version of the Flash at all. I thought it was funny and lighthearted. It provided much needed comic relief to some of the more heavier, serious parts of DC, the DC verse.
And I don't know if you saw the extended 4-hour Snyder cut of.
I did.
Okay,
I watched that. I loved it. I loved it.
And there's a lot more of Ezra Miller's Flash in that, and and like you, I enjoyed those extra scenes. And they are also. I know you're not a Harry Potter fan, so I don't think you've seen the Fantastic Beast series, but
I have not. Only by virtue of my kiddos. They are getting into that a little bit, but they haven't quite hit the end of it. And then there's the Fantastic Beast, but that is tied together in the same universe, isn't it?
And they are in that as well, and does a pretty good job. Ezra has like long hair in that one, so I didn't realize that was them either until I kind of until it was kind of pointed out. I was like, oh yeah, okay. And they play kind of a emo-ish kind of a dark character, so that kind of probably goes up their alley, so to speak. But yeah,
this breaks my heart for the character of Barry Allen. It does, because Barry Allen is like one of the premier anchors, if not cornerstones, for a lot of DC stuff. And I've definitely grown to love the Flash a lot more as an adult than I'm not going to pretend to say that I read every comic, because I did. I wasn't even aware about. I really didn't care about the Flash when I was coming up as a kid. But as an adult, I kind of learned more about it. So that sucks. This just sucks. Like, and I'm throw the book at them, at them, if whatever. But for the most part, this sucks.
Yeah,
just from the standpoint of like DC. Just as a comic book nerd in general. Fan.
Yeah, and I think the movie is set to come out. The Flash movie is set to come out in June 2023, and what Warner Brothers has said, and Warner Brothers hasn't said anything except for that, the Ezra Miller's probably done portraying, which a lot of people
for the future.
Yeah, and I think the new CEO of Warner Brothers has called for, I don't know if it's rumors or if it's fact now, that he's requested some reshoots for the Flash. So and that may involve, since it deals with multiverses, they could probably throw in a scene at the end where the another multiverse version of Barry Allen comes in, and
they've done that.
So that would be smart, or just recast it. That's not unheard of.
Yeah, no, and they could do it very easily too, with just about any character in DC for the most part. That I don't think that would work in the world of Marvel and or Disney Marvel, rather, not Marvel, Disney Marvel. But it would definitely work for DC. And matter of fact, I think there is the movie actor, the small screen one, I really love. Now I'm not caught up on all of it, but it kind of throw it in there. But a Grant Gustin, who plays the CW version of the Arrowverse, the Arrowverse CW version of the Flash. If you the TV show, I would say this. If you start season 1 and just walk away after season 3, you're good.
And that's sort of how I did it. And I agree. He would be a good Flash. I think there's rumors of him taking over the movie role of Barry Allen too.
Oh, really? So, that would be great. I think that he would be a direct drop, and they wouldn't have to lift a finger.
They probably don't have to worry about him grooming or punching someone out in Hawaii or whatnot.
No, something's going on. The lights are on, but nobody's home. Something's going on there.
And I think the Flash was originally supposed to come out this year, maybe last year. Now they postponed it a year. Do you think that was smart on their part to postpone it a year? I guess their idea is for things to calm down.
We're not stupid. They clearly knew something was up. So I have no doubt that that's part of it. And then probably the other part is the reason why everything else is delayed, which is COVID or Corona, the Rona, as it were. But they're probably smart. Now they have a little bit of options. I don't know, but
do you think maybe they should release it now? Because Ezra Miller hasn't killed anyone yet
that we know of.
You don't know.
We know of.
You don't know. Just think another year and what he's done in the past few months, where he'll be in the next year. You don't know.
Right.
Well, what will he get up, or they get up to by then?
I know one thing is for sure: a courtroom sooner than later. That's for damn sure. That's for damn sure. So and of course everybody has innocent until proven guilty, but
they'll probably get bigger ratings than the Johnny Depp Amber Heard.
And studios will tolerate a lot. They'll tolerate a lot, but when you start to talk about minors and restraining orders and this type of thing, it's curtains. You're done. It doesn't even matter if it's true or not. It doesn't matter. And and I'm in no way defending Ezra Miller at all.
Because
they're going to be able to have pay for a lawyer and do all that crap in court if they need to.
Yeah.
But,
and the Justice League's kind of had a curse because I guess the other actor in the Justice League, Cyborg Ray Fisher.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Had some issues. Yeah.
God, that was a 3-year. It was like a car wreck, but in slow motion over 3 years. It was just like you can't look away. It's just very interesting. They're but the DC verse was already plagued anyway, and of course they couldn't use Cavill for a long time because he's in high demand. Because he's Henry Cavill, they had some steps with Wonder Woman, with the Gal Gadot.
Well, and I think they kind of misused Henry Cavill. I think they were in a big hurry to get away from everything Snyder. So in Snyder's as his mark, so to speak, on Henry Cavill. So they were going in a different direction with the multiverse version of Superman portrayed by Michael Jordan, or what was his name? The guy from Black Panther.
That's what I heard.
The villain.
That's what I heard. But I read some things about it, but I haven't heard. But that was a long time ago, and I haven't heard that they were going to do anything with it for sure.
It was greenlit, but I think it's now been, since the new CEO, I think he's kind of put the kibosh on that.
Yeah, probably for the better. Until it can be developed more.
Right. Well, that, and I think he wants to refocus in on the core characters instead of going off into these multiverse type things. Get back to the basics. Get back to the Wonder Woman, the Batman, the Superman, the Joker. So you already have your characters there. There's no point. Don't try to reinvent the wheel while you still have the wheel.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this just interesting. I'm pulling the wrong things. Anyway, suffice it to say, this needs to get sorted out one way or another. I'll just say this: DC, Warner Brothers, they have a hell of a track record. That they don't get the easy road in any of these things. Whether they made a stinker or not, they just have a hard time getting these things off the line for some reason.
In my opinion, they need to release it as soon as possible. So I know it's bad press is also good press. So
in this day and age.
And get it out before Ezra Miller does something totally reprehensible. He may not, or they may not. They may turn their life around and become a star citizen, but at the moment, I don't see that happening, and I can only see things getting worse for them. So, get that Flash out there now. But I think we've pretty much covered this. But if you wanted, and we mentioned the Flash TV series, that's a good recommend, but we could jump over to my recommends.
That's
for this week, and the Flash.
Perfect segue. Fatality.
And this series is focusing on Wally West version of the Flash, and this is also a tie-in to Dark Crisis. Him and Kid Flash are looking for trying to find Barry Allen. And cool. How Barry Allen, along with all the other major Justice League characters, have apparently died. This is them looking for Barry Allen. And so this is probably be a good jumping on point for the series. I started collecting the Flash a few issues back, and it's really well written. I'm not familiar with the writer, that Jeremy Adams, but this is really it's a fun book. That's what I'll say. It's a fun book. Wally West he's a family man. He's married and has 2 young kids that also have Flash powers, and his wife currently has Flash powers that he's not aware of. And every time she tries, she's been trying to tell Wally that she has powers. he gets called away, and this latest one is the Justice League has disappeared, so he has to run off to find Barry Allen and leave his wife with her secret,
Oh
her
wow.
unintended secret. But yeah, it kind of jumps between and it also kind of focuses on his kids' adventures as well.
Okay.
He was in a different dimension, this crystal dimension that the Justice League Dark was helping him out with. And that was a really cool kind of story. There was one issue where everything was turned upside down and kind of he was trying to get through it. And basically, and it was fun because with a physical comic book, because you were having to turn it this way and that to read the story, and it was sort of the kind of reaching out through the fourth dimension, in that he was talking to you as a reader to turn the comic book to get him to where he needed to go, which could have been really hokey and stupid, but the way that they did it was actually really fun and enjoyable. So this is a fun comic book. So but it does have some kind of slightly deeper stuff to it, like with the relationship with the family, but overall it's just a fun read, and that's why I recommend it. I haven't read this particular issue. It comes out this week, so we record this before Wednesday, which is comic book day. But yeah, I definitely recommend this series, and evidently there's a lot of people that agree with me, because when I get there on either comic book day or the day after, it's almost sold out or sold out. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need to jump into this one because I do enjoy a really good Flash storyline, and I haven't read one in a really long time. For sure, that's cool. Awesome. Well, going in with DC, I'm recommending the it's called Kingdom Come, and it's an alternative storyline that's in the future, plays out with Superman, and essentially he retires because there's a next generation of Supes that come out, and essentially there's something that happens, and the newer generation of Supes are out of control, and he has to come out of retirement and save the day, and there's a little bit more into it than that, but it's a really good storyline. It's by Mark Wade. This is one of the more interesting alternative storylines for Superman. When I was away from comic books for a really long time, I missed out on a lot of Superman storylines, and this is the one that was recommended to me that I read, that I fell in love with. And you can get it in one volume, which is what I have the physical copy of this one, but it's just a good read. The artwork is really good. It's a different kind of more serious take on in the superhero world, in line with that. It's just good all the way around. And I definitely recommend it for kind of to match your DC to this DC, but I love Superman, but it's one of the better storylines for him.
Yeah,
for sure.
and I'm not a huge DC guy, so I've just become more and more into it over the last 2 or 3 years. But
cool.
This is one of the storylines I hadn't read. I'd heard about it over the years, how good it is. So and I came close to picking it up just recently, but to be honest, I've heard some bad things about the writer Mark Wade in IRL. That kind of keeps me away from it, but just because I'm not sure if I want to support something that he writes. Sure. But that's my own personal issue, and I'm sure I read and watch some stuff by people that aren't up to snuff as well. So, and I overlook some of their shortcomings. So, sure. It's obviously a personal deal.
Yeah, I totally get it. Yeah, that's totally fine. And the great thing about comic books is there are wonderful storylines to pick and choose from, especially if you have the retrospective time. and some last long. But I would agree. Kind of just calling in the artwork, it is very Norman Rockwell like, and it has that kind of for the artwork. And I believe the artist is Alex Ross, the illustrator.
Alex Ross,
they did a very good job.
And he does. Currently, he gets paid lots of money for his covers, so he's currently just a cover artist because he can make a bunch of money just doing covers. And he's currently on the current run of Iron Man, doing the covers on that, and those are all good. Seeing that top issue right there,
absolutely. There's
Alex
great
Ross,
artwork for sure. This one, that's right. Iron Man, there's nothing bad with a good Iron Man storyline. Hopefully that's what this is. That's Chris Cantwell. Yep. Okay, it is. I didn't even got to think about it.
And
I've learned that from you anyway.
And the that issue I have read. That's where Tony Stark proposes to Hellcat, Patsy Walker, to marry him, and I won't spoil whether or not she says yes. But yeah, and interesting thing about Hellcat, I did not realize this, but our old pal at Comic Tropes that we recommended a few weeks back, he was doing one of his histories on comic books, and there's a Patsy Walker comic book that Marvel did, I think before they were named Marvel, which was sort of one of those female comic books, romance comic books of the day. In later on, one of the writers, I forget who it was, maybe it was John Byrne, but he pulled Patsy Walker and made her a superhero into Hellcat. So it's kind of interesting that they grabbed that from back in the I think it was the Silver Age comic books and brought her into present day and made her a superhero. Where that's she was just a romance comic book character.
Right, just a little.
And to bring it full circle, she's maybe getting married to Iron Man.
Very cool. Well, and while we slide over into speaking of Iron Man, that's Marvel. And I believe that connects the dots with your next one, unless you want to skip over it and go back to Black Adam. But you have the Fantastic Four.
The new Fantastic Four. If you read back in, I think either the late 90s or the early 2000s, Walter Simonson and Art Adams did a run on the Fantastic Four where, I don't know, the Fantastic Four were not available. I don't know if they had been thrown off in some other dimension or whatnot. And a new version of the Fantastic Four surfaced with the Gray Hulk, Spider-Man, Ghost Rider, and Wolverine. So this is a new this isn't a reprint. They actually reprinted some of the issues last week in a special Marvel Tales, if you want to pick that up. But this week starts a new storyline that takes place in the past during that time, and it's written by Peter David, one of our favorites here on the First Last Nerdom. And so I haven't read it yet, but based on the great writing of Peter David and the matchup of those four great characters, I'm all in on this one. But yeah,
man, this looks compelling as hell for sure too. I love this. I love this mashup. I love it. That's awesome. Like that. You got Ghost Rider, you got Wolverine, you got the classic, iconic ones. Like and you can never go wrong with Peter David at all. He's a great friggin' writer. Very much underappreciated in my opinion.
We would love to have him on. So
absolutely,
if he's watching. There's an open invite, but I'm sure he may be a little bit above our pay grade, but
then that's okay. And we'll and even if we have to admire from afar, we'll plug and advocate for Peter David and reading his creative genius for sure.
Yeah, it wouldn't be Marvel without the long list of covers, I'm sure.
Oh
You
God.
scroll down
I
there.
just saw that. Yeah. That's funny.
Well, there's not as many as I thought there would be, but yeah.
Huh.
uh,
Big Fortnite one.
of course, I haven't mentioned it, but there's a Fortnite comic book series that's out right now, where I don't think probably a single issue of that will get read. The kiddos are getting it for the special skins in Fortnite. I don't know if your kiddos are all in on Fortnite, but
They're a little bit past that gate. I think my youngest might, but not really. They're not really into video games, but
yeah,
there
but
is more. Minecraft is still holds some sway in this household for a little bit longer anyway.
yeah, the I think last year or the year before, Fortnite did a run of comic books with DC, with I think Batman, and no, those sold really well. Anytime I was in the comic book shop, someone was in there looking for a Fortnite DC, and so now this year they've started one with Marvel. I think Wolverine and Spider-Man's in the comic. I didn't recommend it because obviously the story is secondary to the
Right.
skin. They come bagged, and there's like a special skin code and in them. So yeah,
for the birds.
yeah,
Good,
exactly.
Good for you. Good for
Yeah.
you if you're into that. Good for you. But we are not into that vibe. But in good, God bless you. But that's cool.
Mhm.
The artwork here and the everything else related to it. I want to see it. I want to read it for sure. And I now you got me, Peter David, jealous because you've been reading a little on his back catalog.
Yeah, and there's a double dose of Peter David this week because the new Fantastic Four comes out, and his current run on Maestro or Mastro comes out as well. The Future Hulk, the evil tyrant Future Hulk, Maestro. He's
The Hills Have Eyes Hulk. Depending upon the storyline, I guess. That's cool. Very cool. Cool. I don't know what that must be, like some kind of a series or something. That variant cover.
I think I think that's the artist's last name.
Okay. Duh. Duh. Cool. All right. Cool. Yeah. With that being said, I got a couple. I got. This really is like a one and two, but I recently picked up volume 2 of House Atreides. Finished volume 1. It was very good. And I have both of them here. And then I couldn't help myself. I picked up this, and I actually picked up some of the actual comic books too. That I think are current. That brings me up more current. I haven't gone through them, but this essentially is a Brian Herbert special. He did a couple novels that kind of touch on this time frame, but it's right before Dune, essentially, and it's kind of setting up. You're introduced to a young Prince Shaddam, a young Duke Leto Atreides, and you also have Pardock Keynes, who in the books is a male, but in the movie they cast that character as a female. But in any case. It kind of in Duncan, Idaho is so this is like the novel that he wrote with Kevin J. Anderson, covered a lot of this storyline. I believe it was in the House of Atreides, the book, but I believe that this is more or less the comic book version of it. In so far so good. I've really enjoyed this one, and I'm looking forward to get caught up. To see if they're, to get that excitement going, like hopefully get on track to where I can kind of follow this and get caught up with it. Not too far away from that, but it's just a good alternative take on Dune, I guess. If you like that, again, it's a different way to do this, and you're exposed to a lot of cool aspects of that world, that universe. And I enjoyed it quite a bit. The artwork is on point. I don't think it's the greatest comic book ever, but I think it does itself justice, and I think it's worth the price of admission anyway, in my opinion.
Yeah, and of course, Dune's our channel's all-time favorite. So, but yeah, you've dipped a lot into Brian Herbert's stuff, but I myself have stuck to Frank Herbert. I just finished Heretics of Dune, which
cool.
I really quite enjoyed, and then
Awesome.
I'm going to immediately dip into Chapter House, which is the last Dune novel by Frank Herbert, which I'll probably be sad by the end of it that there's no more. But at that point, I think I'll try dipping into Brian Herbert. I know he wrote a sequel, a direct sequel to Chapter House, based off of Frank's notes,
His dad's notes.
outline. Yeah, so I'll
Right.
I'll see how the Brian Herbert, Kevin J. Anderson's version of Dune tickles my fancy.
It'll be interesting when you dip your toe in there. And I did Dune, and then I did the next one, Dune Messiah, and then I think this is the second one. Then I kind of paused there, and I was smitten with the idea of the Butlerian Jihad. And when I found out more about it, I just had to read it. And that's the Legend series, which is a trilogy, which kind of covers the arc of setting up the makeup of the universe and why they don't have thinking machines or computers or whatever. I was very much smitten with that. And I very much enjoyed it. So much to the fact that I pretty much did the same thing, but on that side of the house, where I mined out the rest of what I could read. And I believe I might be behind one or two, maybe three, but I followed up. Some were pretty good. Some were a little bit like after reading the material for a while, it kind of got grating a little bit, but that's not because the storyline sucked or whatever. It's because like I had kind of mass ran through those because they were just so good.
Yeah, and I was kind of somewhat like you. I read the first trilogy, Dune Messiah, Children of Dune,
right,
and then I was wondering if I should take a break, but I was still craving Dune, so I went ahead and hit God Emperor of Dune. And then there's like that's sort of like a bridge book between, he was going to write another trilogy, which he only got to write 2 of those books,
right.
which is the one I read just now, Heretics of Dune, but in Chapter House. But yeah, between God Emperor and Heretics, I took a long break just to refresh my batteries. And also it's sort of like if people haven't binged books, but it's sort of like binging on Netflix.
Yep.
You soak up all that stuff. It's fun to do that, to watch like a series, season after season, but it all kind of clumps together, and you kind of at one point you should have like a little breather in between maybe seasons.
Yeah.
And kind of reset your battery, just because a cake's good, but if you sit down and eat the whole cake, you're just going to get bloated and and just not feel all that great after doing all of that. And then a week or two later, you're wishing you had that some more of that cake, but it's all gone. It's all gone. So yeah.
I definitely recommend this. Like I think in my opinion, Brian Herbert is kind of unique from the standpoint of is able to do a novel, and essentially he is the gatekeeper by inheriting all that from his dad. And there's some this and that around it. I don't really care about any of that crap. I just like what I like. And God knows I have read much worse science fiction authors. And of this thing, I am definitely a science fiction nut, or at least for books or for classic ones and whatnot. I definitely have opinions, but I have found no fault with his writing thus far. So aside from taking a break, and I did that on purpose because I know I love Frank Herbert is amazing, period, end of discussion. And I'm looking really much forward to getting into more of the Dune verse and that from that side. So I'll definitely be able to judge, father, son, in reverse order, I guess. But I have to jump around. Otherwise, like you said, I'll just get tapped out. I'm almost always reading some kind of a science fiction book, bad or good. Like if it's bad, I'll drop it like a rock, and I'll move on. But that's rare. That's rare. For the most part, I get more picky than anything else before I start something new. But with that being said, I think we're ready to swing back over to the land of DC.
Oh, I had
go ahead.
Yeah,
please.
no, yeah, we can swing back to my last recommendation if you want. The
absolutely
Black Adam.
Black Adam, yeah, and this holds extra significance too because there's a trailer that was released too. For the sake of it, but
the DC and Warner Brothers doesn't miss a trick, releasing a comic book series in relationship to a movie that's coming out. I am not all that familiar with the Black Adam character.
I don't know anything about that character, to be honest with you. I know what Shazam is. I know the thing with that, and with that.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. The reason why I'm recommending this is I'm kind of intrigued by the character, and also the writer Christopher Priest. He's a great writer. I've come to respect him quite a bit. He's
a newer one, isn't he?
No, he's actually been around forever.
Okay.
He was actually a editor for Spider-Man back, I think, in the 90s, maybe late 80s. He was editing comic books, editing Spider-Man when Peter David just started writing it, but he was going under a different name instead of Christopher Priest. He was going through by the pseudonym, I think it was Jerry or Jeffrey Orley. Ori, I think. I probably should have researched that, but yeah, he was so he's been around forever. He kind of stopped writing comic books for a little bit there, and I think it was he wasn't really happy with the characters that Marvel and DC were offering. I think he wanted to write a wide variety of characters, and they were since he's a black writer, I think they were offering more or less just black characters, and he wanted to kind of write different things. And Harris Comics offered him to do a run on Vampirella, and that's I just picked up. I started reading Vampirella with him writing, and I really enjoyed his run on Vampirella. And he did do also recently for Marvel. He did a run on US Agent, which was really good, and his writings kind of a combination of really kind of creepy, very imaginative writing, plus with a lot of healthy humor to it. And then that Draculina is in the Vampirella universe, and he's currently writing that, and that's a high recommend for me as well. So based on his previous writing and my interest in the Black Adam character, that's why I'm selecting that as one of my picks for this week, because that comes out this week as well. And
very cool. Awesome.
Yep. But yeah, so Christopher Priest, if you see something written by him, I'd give it a go. He's
outstanding.
He's a very, very talented writer.
Yeah, I need to look up more on Black Adam, and I have just the resource when we get to a little later in the show to kind of like know more about it, beyond something to do with lightning or
Yeah.
it reminds me a lot of the Shazam, like that logo is used a lot in DC, the lightning and kind of thing.
The cool thing is that DC's, instead of trying to start all these new titles, I like how they're doing these limited series. Like this is a limited 12-issue series. So that you got your one writer, maybe one or two artists that works on the book, tell a complete story in 12 issues. It gets collected into trade paperback or hardcover graphic novel. So you could pick it up by issue like I'm going to do, or if you want to wait a because 12 issues that with one a month, that'll take about a year to get done, and then they'll do like a hardcover graphic novel of it. So either way you want to digest your comic books. I know one of my friends, they're one of their favorite characters, Aquaman, and he just waits for the trade paperbacks to come out instead of collecting it by issue, which which is actually probably a good way to do it, so that you're not you just get your 20 pages a month.
Yeah, I definitely, I took a trip to the comic book shop not too long ago with my kiddos. And there's just something about going in and like being excited to pick out some issues. And when life settles down a little bit, I do plan on making a much more routine trip to my favorite comic book shop, and just having fun. I miss that. I miss being able to get excited and go there, and to go there with a purpose anyway, and instead of just kind of like not quite knowing and leaning on the clerks there to kind of, hey, what's a good storyline for this character? I'm kind of in the mood for this. What do you recommend? Or something along those lines, or just sitting there for a good 45 minutes just talking about certain things that come up, or whatever random topic. But very cool. Very cool. Yeah, like I said, mine was like pretty much a one shot, but volume 1 and volume 2 for Atreides. But with that, if you're cool, do you have anything else to add, or to piggyback on a Dune? I didn't want to cut you off, but yeah, I think you might have had something to say about that.
No, we're good.
Cool. Yeah, with that, what I would do is I would do exactly this. So I like to follow a lot of YouTubers, and basically this is a great channel for that. It basically goes through and gives you a so you remember the GI Joe cards that would come with the figurines, the action figures. They would come with a card, and this is also the same thing for like Transformers. When you buy a toy, they'd have a playing card, and on the back they tell you their strengths and weaknesses, like a baseball card like that. This is essentially the digital version of that, the video version. Where this person, Key Issues is the name of the YouTube channel, and essentially it is he goes through and he'll either explain the history or the makeup of the character, or that he's pretty much done. He doesn't do just DC and Marvel. He'll dip his toe into like whatever's popular, even some ones that I've never heard of before that are just interesting. And I say that because it's just fascinating to me, because it helps you to might open you up to other comic book or other indies that you might not have been aware of. And he just kind of goes, and he has it's just a quick hit. Some are 5 minutes, some are a little bit longer. But for the most part, it catches you up on like what's important to know about. Like if you're not like the Eternals, like I'm a Marvel nerd, but I don't know who the hell the Eternals are. Like what the hell are those? Like how are they playing in the Marvelverse? Because like I'm not into the weeds on all these. But anyway, it's just fun. He's got a great take on it, and sometimes he'll do power scaling ones, like where for a long time this was all the rage in YouTube, like where they would do. This was like quite a few years ago. What I'm talking about, like they would do this character versus that character, and then you'd have that kind of concept of like Superman versus Wolverine or something like that has been a very old tradition but it used to be on the forums back in the day, where people would go back and forth about their favorites, and then they would go into the weeds on it. But he does that a little bit, not quite that to that degree, but like just kind of shows like how powerful is this cinematic Superman versus the whatever, or for example, Black Adam. That would be like one, like where I would come to him to kind of see like, what the hell is the Black Adam? What the hell is that, and how does it fit in? That kind of thing. Anyway, it's just fascinating. But it's just a little bit more nerddom. And this is like one of my favorite things to find. And again, if you can find a YouTube channel that is way under 1 million, almost to the point like to where less is more. That usually they're putting out really great content, and it's just that golden band until they blow up or they change their formula or something like that. But
Mhm.
this is one you should definitely give them a look. But with that, what's your that brings us to your YouTube pick this week.
Yeah, from comic books and fantasy, we get hit with a dose of reality. Matt Orchard's Crime and Society.
Interesting.
So I watch all sorts of things on YouTube, and this one, this guy, he's really cool. He does really deep dives into crime, and some of it he will analyze like interrogations and whatnot. You can see that there's a little bit of everything on here. There's some topical things like Johnny and Amber's trial stuff. He gets into the Anthony Weiner stuff, and then
wow.
At John Benet Ramsey, he does like almost a 2-hour thing on that, and one that I haven't finished because it's really hard to watch was the George Floyd one, where he does he goes very deep into he doesn't
Oh wow.
he doesn't
2
get
hours.
he doesn't get very emotional, and that's not to say that he's not a sensitive person. He just goes in, he likes to go in and examine the facts of things,
Okay.
and kind of goes into the nitty-gritty of it and examines exactly what happens, and how things are processed. And one of them that I really recommend is that the one of his first ones, that highly controversial case of Daniel Holtzclaw.
Oh, okay.
That one, that one's really fascinating. It's a police officer that gets charged with abuse of power and possibly raping various
Oh
women.
God. Oh.
So that one's really fascinating. Again, these are deep dives, so they're either an hour to 2 hours to over 2 hour things. But the one, if you if you want something that's not quite so deep, or disturbing, the lie of polygraph, the polygraph, that one's very fascinating. That one would be good for anybody that's kind of interesting about the lie detector, so to speak, and whether or not it actually is a lie detector. And spoiler alert, it's not.
Yep. No, well, yep.
But yeah, that one's very fascinating. All of them are fascinating, but yeah, if I had to pick one that would be suitable for everybody to watch, that one would be it.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah, that's one of the things I like to watch. So anytime he has a new one that comes out, I set aside some time to watch his current one. It was on the world of the weird world of cults, which he kind of goes into the Nexium thing, and then
Oh yeah,
he
yeah.
also talks about Heaven's Gate and Scientology, and so yeah, that one's a high recommend for me.
That's cool. Yeah, Heaven's Gate. You want to make sure you have a purple blanket and some Nikes, some black Nikes, before you zoom up to the
yeah, he kind of
hail bop or whatever the hell it is or was. Or
yeah, he kind of looks at the different cults and how they kind of rope in people. That cults kind of take different tactics
they do.
In how they kind of get people to get in on their thing. And there's some Heaven's Gators that are still out there. They
Oh yeah, the website's still.
they're up
The
and
website's still
up and managed. If you actually email them or message them, you'll have a Heaven Gator possibly email you back.
Yep, it's still
Yeah.
up. This is the original website from.
It's
From for
Mhm.
sure. Yep.
It's up. It's up and maintained by those that have been that stayed behind.
Yeah, it is. It's just interesting. But no, that's awesome. There's always room for a damn good documentary. And like he
This
says,
is
you know,
this is a fascinating episode. We went from Ezra Miller to at the end we're talking about Heaven's
crime
Gate
in society. Exactly. Well, you know,
they're kind of bookend by crazy.
yeah, indeed. Yeah, that they're
and
you do the
that
crime, you do the time. That's what
yeah,
they
I think
say.
I think if we both wrote a a book about or a biography together, it'd be Bookend by Crazy. It would be the title.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, this is good. And again, this kind of goes with that kind of rule of thumb that I said, that is just like you find really great YouTube content creators, and every day, every month, every week, YouTube gets better and better and better. Not from the standpoint of the platform, but who in what in the house of it, for sure.
Yeah, and another thing about this channel is yeah, I used to would go to you know, the your usual ABC, NBC, or CNN for this type of content. They used to do like interesting, like that 48 hours, but most of that they had to go for ratings, so it was kind of sensationalized
Right.
crap, so to speak. You still got maybe the story of it, but let's say with like John Benet Ramsey, they're gonna play it up for views, and that's
Right.
to me it's almost kind of ghoulish to do that. Whereas with him, like I said, he steps away from the emotions and kind of goes in with the facts, and he'll examine those people that do attack the story through emotions and whatnot,
Right.
and goes through their maybe their motivations and how maybe they mishandle some stuff by their emotions, but his analysis of what's going on is very by the facts, and that's what I love about his content. In that obviously he is in his stuff isn't catered towards the gods of YouTube and their monetization. A lot of
Right.
stuff that he talks about gets demonetized. So yeah, so he gets a lot of his money to do it through Patreon, and he does a little funny ad for Patreon at the beginning of his videos. And also I guess maybe I'm kind of misrepresenting him a little bit by saying he's by the facts kind of guy,
Mhm.
but as he's telling the story, he is a very funny guy. So it is depending on what he's talking about,
He's
where
entertaining.
where it's appropriate, he'll make
Right.
make
Right.
jokes and kind of make light of certain things. So
Yeah,
yeah.
well, yeah, no, I enjoy, and and without judgment or anything, that I know all kinds of Facebook moms that love that serial. I think it's called Serial, series on. I think NPR puts it out. So anyway, there's like a few
Mhm.
podcasts out there that deal with like murder cases, like real world
Yeah.
ones, and like how they catch them or whatever. So there
Mhm.
is like, and I'm guilty as well as anybody else. Like if you have just a good story from real life, ripped out from real life, no doubt. I'm in because sometimes it's
Mhm.
just fascinating. You don't
Mhm.
know why these people do it, and there's this fascination with this with the insanity of some of these people.
Mhm.
I agree with you. I draw the line, like for example, like Netflix, like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, there was like a spate of a bunch of like high profile, like John Wayne Gacy, um, and like Ted Bundy's and like that kind, like that.
Mhm.
I think over glorified the killer aspect of it, and I don't in any way, shape, or form care for that, and I won't support
Mhm.
that, generally speaking. But
Mhm.
if it's factual and it has some, just I don't deny that there is that fascination of like these
Mhm.
people, like
Mhm.
for crying out loud, the donor party, which happened in the 1800s or whatever, like or the latter half of the 1900s or whatever, like
they were just hungry.
yeah.
They're peckish.
Yeah, meanwhile, like we take a supposed higher level view on ghoulish things, and some things just for the glorification of just somebody's tragedy is always horrific. But again, these kind of things are always there in the underbelly. There's always an underbelly, and it's naive to sweep it under the rug. No, 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 no. As we go forward as a civilization and society, we want to know why. Why does this happen? How can we prevent it, or whatever, but or just morbid fascination. There's always that. So everybody has it. Some people there's you either lie about it or you admit to it or something like that. Anyway.
Yeah, and speaking of morbid fascination with things, I did watch the current episode of Obi-Wan. Actually, this will come out on Wednesday, so I haven't seen the final episode, but
right.
I watched the penultimate one, episode 5, which focuses on Darth Vader, and that one was actually pretty entertaining. I liked seeing Darth Vader. I know that the actor for Anakin Skywalker, what's
Hayden
his
Christensen.
name? Hayden Christensen. Yeah, he's the guy they have in the Darth Vader costume. They're using they credit the voice as James Earl Jones, but I think it's not really him. It's kind of a digital thing because he's an older man. He doesn't have that gravitas of Darth Vader's voice, so it's nice that they're giving him the credit because it is his voice, but I think it's digitally enhanced, so he sounds much more Vaderish than if he did it without that. And but you could kind of tell that there's a smaller statured man in the Darth Vader costumes.
Really?
So at times, because Hayden Christensen isn't, he's no David Prowse, which is the original actor that was in the Darth Vader costume.
Yep.
So yeah, he sort of has looks like from that picture a similar build to Ian McGregor. So, and he's Darth Vader is supposed to be kind of a bit bigger and more imposing. So there is some moments where it kind of gets thrown off a little bit. But yeah, actually, I enjoyed the current episode. I still don't know if it was if any of it was really necessary. There's not an overall compelling argument that I can make for why Obi-Wan Kenobi exists as far as a series outside Disney Plus and having something to stream on it. But I guess you could probably find worse things to watch.
Yeah,
that's my lukewarm recommendation.
Yeah, I've heard that, and I've also heard the faithful, like the more positive Star Wars tubers out there, one in Star Wars Theory, and another dude, Josh from the Den of Nerds or something like that. Anyway, they're on the struggle bus. Let's put it that way. They're on the struggle bus, and I think it's just kind of like this is general question of like what's going on, what are we doing, and those guys are like far more positive, and I like that to a point. Obviously, they're still real. They still recognize reality when they see it. I think that they can be. I think they can pussyfoot around an opinion a little bit for my taste, but they're definitely no Doomcock or Overlord, DVD Overlord, or Midnight Edge. Although Midnight Edge is, whenever they come with criticism, they come correct. They come correct with, it's not just I hate this or this sucks. It's here's why we think this sucks and here's why. Just some interesting, more factually based things, but I think we're reaching a saturation point with some of these things.
Oh, and guess what?
What's that?
Our buddies at Red Letter Media, they reviewed the first 4 episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Did they really? Did you see that one yet?
Yep. They give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, that's good.
They enjoyed it.
Good.
They're I think only one of them is kind of leans more towards Star Wars. The other 2 we're huge Star Trek fans. I think they're less so after watching the 2nd season of Picard. But I think
I follow along with that. Yeah,
I think maybe their barometer was knocked maybe a little askew. I think if they hadn't have watched and been totally depressed by the second season of Picard, they might have not enjoyed Obi-Wan quite as much as they do. But I think they got a lot of enjoyment out of
I just personally note out of this one. Then that's just because like I'll wait to see if it's worth watching, because I've been here, done that, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that's why I'm living vicariously through you. So I will look forward to and I've heard the build up for the final episode. I've heard that it's supposed to be pretty damn substantial. So I think that if you are a True Blue fan, I think that you're gonna I think that's gonna be paid in dividends if they pull it off. Let's hope they pull it off, and then I can come back and see it. So
and we're recording this on Tuesday night. It'll probably go out tomorrow, but Wednesday nights when they have the new episode of Obi-Wan, so maybe later tonight I'll watch that, and we could talk about that next week. Also, another thing is I didn't realize this, but Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness comes out tomorrow on Disney Plus as well.
Oh.
So I'll be watching that as
Awesome.
Well, which I haven't seen it yet.
Very cool. And that's the movie, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
New movie. I was kind of surprised that it's already coming out. But
interesting. I will definitely check that out for sure.
I was gonna recommend that for us to maybe do our big podcast on next week.
Very cool. Yeah. We'll definitely pick this one up for sure. And with that, I think we're rolling up here to the caboose of the train, as it were.
Yep, we're closing up the grab bag for the week.
we are. Yeah, this was a fun one. This is a lot for me to catch up on for sure.
yeah. If you have any comments, definitely give those down below, and then give us a like, and if you liked it. If you didn't, go ahead and dislike us. Won't hurt our feelings. But yeah, we love to hear from you as well, and also subscribe if you liked what you saw.
Yeah, please do. And with that, we'll see you next Wednesday.
Oh, and before we go, I think Ezra Miller should have been Morbin instead of doing what he's been doing. Everybody should Morb.
Yeah, if you just went to see Mobius, we wouldn't be talking about it.
Yep. You guys out there, keep Morbin. See you next time.
Peace.